All settled? Let's go. Starting at number 7, we have the eternal inflation multiverse. Cosmic inflation is the theory that the universe underwent exponential expansion in the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang. Space itself expanded faster than light, smoothing out irregularities and creating the uniform universe we see today. But here's the terrifying part. Inflation might never stop. In the eternal inflation model, inflation is happening right now. Not in our universe. Our region of space stopped inflating 13.8 billion years ago, but in the vast space beyond what we can observe. Inflation continues eternally, and occasionally, random quantum fluctuations cause small regions to stop inflating and form universes like ours. This means our universe isn't unique. It's one bubble in an infinite foam of universes, each with potentially different laws of physics, different constants, different properties. Some of these universes support life, most don't. In most of them, atoms can't form, stars can't ignite, or the fundamental forces are too weak or too strong for anything interesting to happen. And here's where it gets disturbing. If inflation is eternal, there's no beginning. It's always been happening. Our Big Bang wasn't the start of everything. It was just one local event in an eternally inflating space. Before our universe existed, infinite other universes already existed. And after our universe dies, infinite more will be born. You're not living in the universe. You're living in one temporary bubble in an infinite, eternal process that has no start and no end. And most of those bubbles are hostile to life in ways we can't even imagine. What makes this even more unsettling is the sheer scale of randomness involved. In an eternally inflating multiverse, every possible configuration of physical laws will eventually occur somewhere. That means there are universes where gravity is 1 trillion times stronger, crushing everything into black holes instantly. Universes where the electromagnetic force doesn't exist, so atoms never form. Universes where time runs backward. Universes where the laws of physics are so chaotic that nothing stable can exist for more than a fraction of a second. And somewhere in this infinite foam, there are universes almost identical to ours. Universes where you exist, but made one different choice. Universes where Earth formed slightly differently. Universes where human history diverged at a single moment. Every possible version of reality exists somewhere in the eternal inflation, and you're living in just one of them, with no way to access or even prove the others exist. At number 6, we have the cyclic universe model. What if the Big Bang wasn't the beginning? What if it was just the latest in an infinite series of Big Bangs? The cyclic universe model proposes that the universe goes through endless cycles of expansion and contraction. Our universe expands for trillions of years, eventually running out of energy and momentum. Then it contracts, collapsing back down to a single point. And then it explodes again in a new Big Bang, creating a new universe. This cycle repeats forever. Before our Big Bang, there was another universe, and before that, another, and before that, another, stretching back infinitely into the past. Each cycle might last trillions of years, but eventually, everything resets. All the stars, all the galaxies, all the life that ever existed, gone, compressed back into a singularity, and then reborn as something new. Here's the nightmare. If the cycles are truly infinite, then this has happened before. Not just once, infinite times. And it will happen again, infinite times. Everything you know, everything you've ever experienced will one day be compressed into a point so small it has no size, and then exploded outward to create a new cosmos that has no memory of this one. You're not living in a universe that began. You're living in a temporary phase of something that has been dying and being reborn forever. And there's no escape from the cycle. Some versions of this theory propose that each cycle is slightly different. The physical constants change. The laws of physics evolve. The new universe isn't quite identical to the old one, which means the universe before ours might have been radically different. Different particles, different forces, different structures. And the universe after ours will be different again. We're living in one frame of an infinite movie that's been playing forever and will never end. At number 5, we have the colliding brains theory. This one comes from string theory, which proposes that our universe is a 3-dimensional brain floating in a higher dimensional space, and we're not alone. There are other brains, other universes, floating nearby in this higher dimensional bulk. The Big Bang, in this model, wasn't a spontaneous explosion. It was a collision between our brain and another brain. Think of two sheets of paper floating in a room. Occasionally they touch. When they do, the point of contact releases enormous energy that creates space, time, and matter. That's our Big Bang, a cosmic fender bender in higher dimensional space. But here's the disturbing implication. If our universe was created by a collision, then the other brain is still out there, and it might collide with us again. These collisions might be regular events. Every trillion years, the brains drift close enough to touch, destroying whatever universes currently exist on them and creating new ones. Our universe could be obliterated at any moment by another collision, with no warning, no escape, and no survivors. And worse, there might be infinite brains out there, colliding with each other in chaotic patterns, creating and destroying universes constantly. We just happen to exist in a brief window between collisions. The truly disturbing aspect of this theory is that we can't see the other brains. They exist in dimensions we don't have access to. We're trapped on our three-dimensional sheet, completely unaware of what's happening in the higher dimensional bulk around us. Another brain could be drifting toward us right now, and we'd have no way to detect it until the moment of collision. And at that moment, everything we know would be annihilated and recreated in an instant. Number 4 is the quantum fluctuation from nothing. Some physicists propose that the universe didn't come from anything. It literally popped into existence from nothing due to a quantum fluctuation. In quantum mechanics, particles can spontaneously appear and disappear due to uncertainty in the quantum vacuum. Virtual particles pop into existence, exist for a fraction of a second, and then annihilate. This happens constantly, everywhere, all the time. Now scale that up. What if, instead of a single particle, an entire universe can spontaneously fluctuate into existence? The math suggests it's possible. The total energy of the universe might be zero, positive energy from matter and radiation balanced by negative gravitational energy. If the net energy is zero, then creating a universe doesn't violate conservation of energy. It's just a rearrangement of nothing into something. So before the Big Bang, there was literally nothing. No space, no time, no matter, no energy, not even a quantum vacuum. Just pure, absolute nothing. And then, for no reason, a quantum fluctuation occurred, and suddenly there was a universe. Here's what makes this terrifying. It means existence is an accident. A random quantum event that had no cause, no purpose, no meaning. The universe didn't need to exist. It just happened. And if it happened once, it could happen again. Infinite times. Infinite universes popping into existence from nothing, existing briefly, and then disappearing back into nothing. You exist because of a statistical fluke in nothingness. That's it. And here's the part that keeps physicists up at night. If the universe can spontaneously appear from nothing, it can also spontaneously disappear back into nothing. Quantum fluctuations work both ways. At any moment, the entire universe could simply cease to exist, not because of any physical process, but because the same quantum uncertainty that created it decides to uncreate it. One moment, reality. The next moment, nothing. No warning, no cause, just a random fluctuation back to the void. At number 3, we have the white hole explosion. Black holes are regions of space where gravity is so strong that nothing can escape. White holes are the theoretical opposite, regions where nothing can enter but everything is violently expelled. Some cosmologists have proposed that the Big Bang was actually a white hole. Before our universe existed, there was another universe. In that universe, matter fell into a black hole. But instead of being crushed into a singularity and destroyed, it was ejected through a white hole on the other side, creating our Big Bang. This means our entire universe, all the galaxies, all the stars, all the matter and energy, was once part of another universe. We're the remnants of a cosmic digestive system, expelled from a black hole in a parent universe we can never observe or access. And if our universe came from a black hole in another universe, then the black holes in our universe might be creating new universes right now. Every black hole could be a doorway to a baby universe, budding off from ours, with its own space and time, completely disconnected from ours. This creates an infinite tree of universes, each one spawning more universes through black holes, stretching back infinitely into the past and forward infinitely into the future. And you have no idea how deep in the tree you are. Our universe might be a child universe, or a grandchild, or a descendant so far removed from the original that the chain is incomprehensibly long. Every time a star collapses into a black hole in our universe, it might be giving birth to an entire cosmos on the other side, with beings who have no idea they're living inside the corpse of a star from a parent reality, and we might be living inside the corpse of a star from a universe we can never see or reach. At number 2, we have the simulation hypothesis reset. What if the Big Bang wasn't a physical event at all? What if it was the moment someone pressed start on a simulation? The simulation hypothesis proposes that our entire universe is a computer simulation running in some higher reality. And if that's true, then the Big Bang is just the initialization of the program. Before the Big Bang, the simulation didn't exist. Then someone or something turned it on, and suddenly there was time, space, and physical laws. Here's the horrifying part. If we're in a simulation, then whoever is running it can turn it off, at any moment, without warning. 1 second you exist, the next second the program stops, and you never existed at all. And it gets worse. If our universe is a simulation, then the simulators might be running multiple instances, billions of copies of this universe with slight variations to see what happens. You might be one of countless copies of yourself living in parallel simulations with no way to know which instance you are or if your timeline is the real one. Before the Big Bang, there was a reality advanced enough to simulate entire universes, and we're just one experiment among countless others, running on hardware we can't comprehend for purposes we'll never understand. Think about the implications. If we're simulated, then the laws of physics aren't fundamental. They're just the rules of the program. The simulators could change them at will. They could pause the simulation, rewind it, run it forward at different speeds. They could edit events, insert new elements, remove things that don't serve their purposes. Everything you think is real could be arbitrary code, and everything you think is impossible could be enabled with a simple parameter change. And finally, at number 1, we have the Boltzmann brain paradox. This is the most disturbing possibility of all. If the universe has existed for an infinite amount of time in the past, then statistically, random quantum fluctuations would eventually create anything, given enough time, including brains. Fully formed, conscious brains, complete with fake memories of a life that never actually happened. These are called Boltzmann brains. And here's the problem. It's statistically more likely for a random quantum fluctuation to create a single conscious brain with false memories than to create an entire universe with billions of years of history. Which means it's more likely that you are a Boltzmann brain, a disembodied consciousness that fluctuated into existence a moment ago, complete with false memories of a life that never happened, than that you are actually a real person living in a real universe. The Big Bang might not have happened. The universe you think you're in might not exist. Your entire life, your memories, your experiences, all of it could be a random fluctuation that will dissolve back into the void in the next instant. And you'd never know the difference. Because in the moment before you vanish, you'd still have memories of reading this. But none of it would have been real. The math is brutal. Creating a single brain requires far less improbable fluctuation than creating 13.8 billion years of cosmic history. So if fluctuations are truly random and the timeline is infinite, then for every real observer with real history, there should be trillions upon trillions of Boltzmann brains with fake memories. Statistically, you're almost certainly one of them. This isn't just philosophy, it's a genuine problem in cosmology that physicists take seriously. Some models of the universe predict that Boltzmann brains should vastly outnumber real observers, which means something is wrong with either the models or our understanding of probability and existence. 7 theories about what came before the Big Bang. Some propose eternal cycles. Some propose infinite multiverses. Some propose that nothing came before because there was no before. Some suggest we're living in a simulation, or that we're the byproduct of a black hole, or that we're not even real at all. But all of them share one disturbing truth. The universe didn't have to exist. Our existence is either an accident, a temporary phase in an eternal process, a simulation, or possibly not even real at all. And whatever came before the Big Bang, If anything did, it's so far beyond our ability to observe or understand that we might never know the truth. We're trapped inside the universe, looking outward at a boundary we can't cross, trying to reconstruct events that happened before time itself began. The Big Bang is the edge of knowability. Beyond it lies either infinite complexity or absolute nothing, and we'll probably never know which. If this made you question the very nature of existence, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload.